Welcome to the Build Your Beautiful Business podcast with your host, Julie C. Butler. If you're looking to build the business of your dreams, then this is the space you want to be in. Join Julie as she talks about ways that you can successfully scale your profitable dream business, one that will give you ultimate time freedom and the abundant lifestyle you deserve. Julie will take you by the hand, sharing with you her business savvy strategies as she chats it up with her favorite online entrepreneurs. You'll get a weekly dose of boosted confidence as you learn as they reveal their insight, tips, and tools that you need to start building a profitable dream business of your own, one that you'll love and that works for you on autopilot.
Hello and welcome back to the show. Today we have Jennie, the list building queen, Wright. Jennie Wright has been helping business owners grow their email list and generate leads for over 10 years. As the creator of the list injection method, she helps her clients and audience generate leads through inbound attraction and permission marketing. Having built over 375 plus list builds, Jennie understands the essential steps to creating an event that attracts reader buyers and builds trust and engagement with your audience. Her mission is to help business owners create intelligent and authentic marketing, lead generation, and business growth strategies that drive bottom line results. Welcome, Jennie. I am so excited to have you here. You're one of my favorite people. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. You're one of my favorite people. You already know this. We're going to have a good time.
I know we're still going to have a good time. So today we're going to talk about summits, list building, strategy, not leaving money on the table. And I have to share this story because I think it's powerful in its own way. But, you know, I had a problem in my business, and my problem was that I wasn't building my email list enough, and I wasn't doing, that was my problem, was my list wasn't growing consistently, and so it's funny because I always say when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And so what do I know? I see the summit posted on Facebook. I decided to join it, and I don't join a lot of summits. And I listened to, I think it was your summit last summer. And I think I listened to 2 or 3 of the interviews, but yours was the first one. And right away, you talked about this stuff. And I'm like, I need to talk to this girl. And so I hopped on a discovery call with you, and you literally had my whole business mapped out for me for the next year, including a summit. And you had the name for it. You had, when we were going to do it. You even had projected so many different things. You painted a picture for me. And I was like, yes, Jennie, let's do it. And so Jennie became I think we called you my summit mentor, right?
Yeah.
My summit coach, and become biz bestie at the same time, because we were talking once a week.
We were talking a lot more than that. Let's be real.
Yes. Yeah.
So there was a lot, we had scheduled calls once a week, but we were talking a heck of a lot more than that. And that's how the relationship develops.
Yes.
I am the summit mentor, producer, whatever you want to call me. I don't care. And it all has to be from the side of me extrapolating what a summit can do in the business of the client, and then showing them how it can make the difference, and then having them move forward with it when they're ready and it feels good.
Yeah. And I mean, I have to say, legit, hiring you last year was the best money I could have spent on my business, because my business grew exponentially in ways that I'm sure I could sit here and have a whole episode on the ways that my business changed and grew because of the decision I made to hire you and host a summit. I think it's really important that when we come to a place in our business sometimes where we get to that place where it's a good thing, it's a good time, and it's a good thing to invest in our business and in ourselves. And this was one of those moments for me. And you know what? I think that the summit that I hosted paid back 4 times. My investment, right? So it was, anyway, so thank you.
Oh, please, you thanked me enough. But the thing that I loved about it was the fact that you took on this dedication speed. You went into the dedicated space of, if Jennie tells me to do it, I'm just going to do it. So not that I don't love that, because I absolutely do. I mean, I just want to rinse and repeat and like clone
Yes,
you.
yeah.
But a lot of the thing is that I've done this over 350 plus times.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always going to recommend the thing that I know will potentially work. And if you follow the plan, we're going to see the kind of results that you're talking about, the 4x or the even more. I think it's even more than that, for what it's going to return on your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So not only do you get the leads, but you also get any sponsorship money. If you do sponsors, you're going to get VIP, if you do a VIP all access pass, plus you're also going to get any ancillary sales afterwards. And you did a
Mm-hmm.
boatload of ancillary sales, right? So people were buying templates and all these kinds of things. But in addition, it's all of those soft skills, right? So you've been asked to speak on a multitude of summits since then. You've done all of this extra stuff. Again, you could have your own episode about that, and we're going to move away from that. But the main thing that I think people should take away from this is it is a transformative experience. It really changes your business in so many different ways, in a multitude of different ways at different levels, right? Things you see right away and things you don't see right away that happen later on.
It's just a magical thing.
It can
like,
be.
honestly,
yeah, it can be.
right?
It's hard
like,
work.
honestly, it
It's
is
really hard.
so much work, but so rewarding and so fulfilling.
Yep.
And, I'm sure that some of your clients are like, I'm never doing this again, but I wasn't that person. I was like, this is what I was meant to do. I was born to do this, right?
Yeah, you were born to do this because you're really good at the talking with the people and the organizing and creating all the beautiful pages. Like you really do excel in that space, right? So for you, working in this space and continuing to do so is great. The only thing that needed to change is you needed to have a support team to help you, right? Like you couldn't keep doing it yourself. So one of the first things I was like, you need an assistant. Let me show you somebody that's really, really good. And I gave you some feedback on that or whatever. But the way that you took to summits was fantastic. And by being able to repeat them, you're able to take what you did and elevate it. The thing is that if somebody does a summit and they're like, oh, this wasn't for me, I mean, totally, I get it. But the issue is they're not taking the thing that potentially could be exponentially better if they just put a little bit more change into it, amplified different areas, maybe improved a couple things, instead of just going, I didn't get the numbers I wanted, I didn't get the sales that I wanted, F this, screw that, I'm never doing this again. Make some, there's always a good opportunity to take what you did and make those changes that could probably make it even better and try it again. That's what I think.
And that's true for any area of our business, really.
Absolutely. We shouldn't be doing things like in a one-off in a bubble and then not trying to improve upon them and then jump to the next thing and jump to the next thing, because you're never going to get that consistency. The consistency is what creates more sales and more opportunity and more lead generation.
And plus, I love what you said when we were doing the interview for my summit. You said that you can customize summits for each individual. Like there's so many different ways that we can customize a summit to fit the person that is hosting the summit, which is super cool. Yeah. So, okay. So let's get started, because I know that we could talk about this for 2 hours, but we're not gonna do that. Maybe we could do like we should have done like maybe a series or something, but
we're totally going to do something. Yeah.
Okay. List building is a key element in any online business marketing strategy. Wow, I can't talk. Let me start over. Okay. List building is a key element in any online marketing strategy, but how can someone effectively grow their email list without coming off as spammy or intrusive?
This is, and I love this question, because a lot of people get hung up on do I sound like an idiot? Do I sound spammy? Do I sound like I am too pushy? If you come at it from how you want to be represented, like how you want to be seen or your own personality, and you take the time to sort of learn how to connect with people, then you won't sound spammy and you won't sound intrusive. Mainly, the best way to do this is by knowing your niche, knowing your audience very, very well. How do they like to be spoken to? How do they like to receive information? This is those psychographics, those demographics, all those different words. I mean, I'm not a niche specialist, far from it, but I've learned enough, and I've had somebody do a lot of niche work for my business for me to know this, that if you know these people, then it becomes a lot simpler on how to speak to them. I know my audience. They like to receive their emails between 9:30 and 11:30. On Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays. They like emojis. They like really informal emails. They like me to be like super transparent with what's going on in my life. And they also don't like me to swear. I remember one email I sent a swear word in my email, and I was like, unsubscribe, unsubscribe. I'm like, oh God. Now, in real life, I do swear. I mean, that's just me. I have some vernacular swearing.
You
that
have a
happens.
potty mouth, Jennie? I do too, actually.
Really? You do? Yeah, no, I do. I totally have a potty mouth.
So I say shit in my emails, and that can pass, right? Or the heck with this,
I think
or
it's the F word that's like a bridge too far.
Yeah, I think I don't think I'm there. Like
No.
I think that if I said the F word, people would be like, what, Julie? But I say the F word all the time.
Like in real life, all the time.
In real life, yeah.
Yeah. So in my emails, yeah, no. But if you know your email list, and they're all people, remember that they're not just like an email list, they're all built up of people. You can then figure this kind of stuff out on how to speak to them. It is trial and error. You know, I will admit, and I do this with a lot of clients, that their first emails sound incredibly robotic. And potentially right now, with so many people using like ChatGPT, that software, although very useful in some areas, it doesn't speak like you. It doesn't have your intonation. It doesn't have your way of speaking. So if you are using ChatGPT for your newsletters / emails, be aware that unless it's, unless you make enough changes to it so it sounds like you, it's going to have that change, right? So if somebody watches you on a live, the way you speak in your email should almost completely match, right? So I say,
like if you're talking to a friend, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I can't imagine using ChatGPT to write an email for me. I've used it though. It wrote a whole sales page for me. I'm like, what? This thing is awesome.
Yeah, they're great. I know a client that uses ChatGPT for their newsletters, and then they go back in and they put their own voice into it, which I think is perfect. They can use that. So if you have trouble writing, like I know a lot of people spend like 2 hours trying to write a newsletter. But if you use something and you use ChatGPT as an example, just to like get the ball rolling and to keep, to get things moving.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I think I can see that would be good to do.
Just make the changes, right? Yeah. So
I like
that's
that.
what I recommend.
Yeah. And I the thing is too, is that, I think that we need not to overthink this whole writing to our newsletter people. Like just write, speak from the heart, right? Speak from the heart, and,
don't
obviously, and right, with
don't
like
oversell.
following following the rules, like following the ethics of, the etiquette of, emailing, just like also sometimes. Like, I mean, I'm probably done that a few times, overthinking what I put in my newsletter, but I'm at a place now where it's trust. Yeah. So
Everybody
I think,
does.
yeah. And it's important to know that people are going to come, people are going to go, and that's okay.
Oh, and here's my like pro tip for not sounding spammy and salesy and all that. At the tippity top of my emails, in a smaller font, like a, I don't know, 12 point or 10 point, I will put at the very top of my email, you're receiving this email because at some point you registered to receive a freebie or something from Jennie Wright. But if you want to unsubscribe, no problems. Here's the link to do it now.
I love that.
And I put it at the top. I don't bury it at the bottom. A lot of people bury it at the bottom. Mine's at the very top of my emails, and it reminds people right away why they're there. Right. And they're like, because some people will get like an email and they'll be like, who the heck is Jennie Wright? Unsubscribe. And they don't take the time to read the email, and they go, oh, I know this person from such and such.
Yes.
So if I put it right at the top, chances are I'm going to get a lot more people reading it. And it's actually reduced my unsubscribe rate substantially.
I'm going to try that.
Yeah, do it. It really works.
Okay, cool. Taking note. Okay, so I know we talked about this earlier, but you've had really good success at organizing online summits that attract thousands of attendees. So what are some of the most important factors to consider when planning a successful online summit? And how can someone ensure their attendees get the most value out of the experience? Because that's important, right? Like, you want to not just put a summit together and just like spaghetti, hope it sticks, right?
Completely. The actual answer to the question is in the question. It's planning. The best thing that you can do is allow enough time to plan a summit effectively. meaning that you're looking at all the opportunities where you can create an amazing registrant experience. So the whole goal of the summit is to grow your email list and convert people from not knowing you whatsoever to enjoying your content and wanting to get to know you and also buying from you. That's the natural progression.
Mm-hmm.
And to get there, we need to create enough of an experience where, one, they get to know you as the host.
Mm-hmm.
Two, they have a really great time and they're interested, because the worst thing that we see, and you saw this too, and you've seen it in other summits, is people register for the summit and then they never interact with the summit at all. They registered for it and they're just like, they never remember. However, we can overcome that by making sure that we have a really great registrant Facebook group or other platform for registrants to connect.
Mm-hmm.
We're sending timely reminders, but not too many reminders, to join us on, say, some live experiences like panels
Mm-hmm.
or Facebook Lives or hot seats and things like that. We're making sure that our experts are the ideal expert for the registrants to want to see.
Mm-hmm.
So if one of your experts is an expert in psychology, but the summit is about marketing, make sure that you have a really great mix. So anybody who comes from that psychology side of things, isn't feeling like, hey, I came here checking out psychology and everything here is about, LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not going to jive. So make sure that your experts match your topic and the niche of the summit. Make sure you have enough time to plan it out. That's the key. That's the biggest thing I can say, is that if you don't plan it out properly, you're going to leave so many opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And if you plan it out properly, you can insert and create so many great ways for people to have a great experience.
And then you get the engagement, and then you get
Absolutely.
the testimonials, and then you get the, the buying of the VIP tickets, and then
all of that happens naturally. If you do all of the things that we just talked about, you almost don't have to worry about the rest. So if you're not doing those things, then you're going to worry about the fact that you only have, really small amount of people buying, et cetera. Like, you had people buying your VIP out the wazoo.
Mm-hmm.
Because we made sure there was a great registration experience, right from the registration page to the thank you, to the email they got, to the Facebook group, all that kind of stuff. They were like, come on in. It's like family dinner time, as opposed to, yeah, glad you're here. Thanks for being here. And then you turn your head away. Like, there was none of that. It was like, come on in. Like, hey, I'm Julie and I'd like to get to know you. That creates the experience that people want. And everything that you want out of the summit should naturally follow if you excel in that one space beforehand.
And I infused my personality into everything that I did. Yeah.
Yes. And that's really important too, is to have your personality in there. If it doesn't match you, it's going to feel really awkward. And one of the biggest things that people pick up on is awkwardness. Ask me how I know, as somebody who's socially awkward sometimes. I pick up on it so quick. I can't even watch TV shows that are awkward. It drives me nuts. But if you don't create it for yourself and have your own personality infused in there, people are going to notice.
So important. So I want to paint a picture, like you've worked with this many clients and you've hosted this many summits.
Yep.
Let's paint a picture of what a summit can look like. I know that you can't guarantee, and it's sometimes really can't really predict, but let's paint a picture of the possibility of email list growth and the potential of income by hosting a summit. Because I know that it can go from this to this, but I know that we have to take into consideration time of year. There's so many factors that can play into this, but this is what is possible. Tell us some of that.
All right, so I'm going to break it into two separate groups. Okay, so we're going to have our people who've never done a list build before, potentially brand spanking new in their businesses, or 0 to 3 years. And then the other group is going to be people who are more established, probably have done a couple launches, have some consistent and significant income they're already creating. Okay, so the first group doesn't have any of that. They may have inconsistent income months. They may be getting a trickle of leads on a not so regular basis, and they are always in the struggle to find their next client or to find their next lead or any of that kind of stuff. They're also not being accepted on other people's summits or podcasts because they don't have the audience themselves. Okay, so that's the first group. Okay. So what can be possible for the group like that is exponential list growth. Right. So you may only have 250 people on your list or 300 people on your list, maybe 900. What is possible with the right amount of planning, the best experts that you can get. And that does not mean the biggest experts. That means the best experts, because the biggest, we know this, as the biggest experts can also not be the best ones. They may have big lists, but that doesn't mean you're going to get leads or registrants.
I know that list size doesn't equal the amount of registration. Like it doesn't equal. Sometimes it does, but it doesn't always. So I do know that.
I have been yelling that from the rooftops, by the way, for at least a decade. Finally, people are listening to it. But I've always said list size doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's about what you can do in terms of like actually promoting and connecting. Okay, so back to my example.
Okay.
So potentially you can double, triple, quadruple your list size, okay, with the right amount or the right types of leads, okay? You will grow a community of people who are really interested in who you are and what you do. Your experts can become friends and joint venture partners and people that you want to collaborate, which opens up more opportunities, because at the space and the time that you're in your business that I described, you may be trying to do all of this alone. And it's very insular, and it's very, it's almost like there's a big wall between you and the exterior of people in your space, right? So this breaks that down and allows you to connect with people who are in your space, like-minded, that you could potentially JV with, do things like collaborative webinars or books or whatever. And it really opens up your opportunities. Let's talk about money. You have the opportunity to leverage your summit with potential sponsorships. Now, if you don't have a podcast and you don't have a social media following and things like that, but you do have connections, you could potentially get sponsorships that you can leverage to help, create some income in your summit before it even launches. If you don't need to have sponsors, so don't freak out, but you can make sales with your VIP or all access pass packages, right? So we create a really simple package, something that's really easy to buy, great price, has a lot of value in it, includes the recordings, maybe it's a call with you, all these things, and you can make a lot of sales with that, right? So we're going for volume. So we keep the price low because we're not trying to go for like insane amount of dollars. We're trying to go for volume. So we put it at like $27, $37, $47. We want to sell like 50, 60, 100 of those, if not more. That's amazing. You could make thousands of dollars from the VIP packages. That's it. If you create your summit with the end goal in mind, meaning whatever it is that you want to sell off the back end, and you think about that and you actually build the summit towards it, then naturally you should be able to infuse the summit with the thing that you want to sell. And it can help break down the barriers to that sale before you even get into a sales piece, to a launch. Okay, so
I love it.
We've grown our list with really great leads, potentially tripled, quadrupled the size of our list. We've made potentially thousands of dollars off of our VIP packages, maybe some sponsorship dollars, which would be great. We've met people who could be JV partners later on. We've also infused our summit with our own personality and possibly some sales for later. It can be a game changer at that level. Okay, so this is like a business launcher. We can use summits that way. In the second group of people who are already established, making money on a consistent basis, maybe already have a list that's, 1,000 or a couple thousand or more. And some of my clients, by the way, are multi 6-figure and 7-figure people with lists of like 30, 40, or even 100,000 leads. Summits work for all of this. So what that person is doing is they're trying to navigate a summit into the very niched-in world of the launch they want to do. So they're using summits pre-launch. Okay, they want to launch a big ass course at the bottom of this thing.
Mastermind,
whatever, 25. Most of my clients at that level are doing like a 10 to 15K mastermind offer off the back end. So what that level of summit does is it creates a ton of sponsorship money because you're already established and you can leverage things in your business like a podcast. You can leverage solo emails to your list. You can leverage your social media, saying that you'll do a social post or things like that, or a live, where your social media clout then becomes a leveraged piece of, that you can use, right? So you're doing that. You're getting a ton of VIP sales. You're also creating opportunities for sales calls. So if you have this mastermind that you want to sell off the back end, you can add in a second tier of VIP at a higher price that includes like a 40-minute call. And then you can use that to sell your program, product, or service. Right. So the bigger summits, the second summit that we were talking about, we can add in all these things that create that elevation that we're talking about. By the way, you can do all of that for the smaller summit. No big deal. You just need to be, you just have to have the time and the planning. That's all. So these are the kinds of things that are possible. I've done summits where the end result for the second group of people has been $100,000 plus in sales.
That's crazy, but possible.
Totally.
I love it.
Totally possible.
I love it. Possible.
And not a dollar spent on Facebook ads, just FYI, not a freaking cent. Now you can spend money on paid ads, but the thing I love about summits is that organic share. But if you want to do Facebook ads, you go ahead and do it. Or paid ads, we're looking at between $25 and $40 per lead with paid traffic. Unless you're really optimized. Yeah. It is. One of my clients right now is running a summit and they're doing their paid ads, and we're getting about, we're paying $15 a lead, which is amazing.
Okay.
But they've been running ads for months and we're retargeting, right? So we're going to pay less. So if you've never run a Facebook ad before or paid traffic before, you should be starting something at a low dollar amount, $5, $5
awareness
a day
or whatever.
Awareness
something.
Campaigns. And then for your summit, you're retargeting, which means your cost per lead price will drop significantly. So that's the thing, right? So the first summit that we talked about, that first example, you don't have to run ads at all, but you are relying on your experts. So you want to have good experts. So I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And I mean, like, I know, but this is the kind of stuff that the proof's in the pudding. You know what I mean? Like, we want to know what's possible, because sometimes, we dive into something without knowing what results are possible. It's hard for us to envision, right? But I'm a huge, I have high expectations for anything I do. And so that's just the way I'm wired. But I didn't, we made goals, right? Like at the beginning when we started working together, we wrote down some goals, and I exceeded those goals by, a lot. Like we exceeded, we were like, okay, Julie, we need to revisit those goals and, change them and add to it. But at the same time, what's possible is the possibility is what gets us going. You know what I mean? Absolutely. I mean, and also you need to have a clarity on what you want. So if your goal is just to get really great leads and, you tell me, hey, Jennie, I want to double my list. Okay. I can't guarantee that you will, but what I can tell you is if we do this properly, we're going to get niched in leads, more likely to be interested in what you're talking about. Back when summits first started, when I first started summits, which was over a decade ago, it was not uncommon to create a really ugly landing page, promote this thing, and get 5,000 registrants with almost no effort. I'm not even kidding you. It was like, hey guys, I'm doing a summit. It's going to launch on June 1st. Want to come? And everybody was like, yeah, sign me up. Everybody was like, sign me up. But you had 5,000 new registrants. And within 3 weeks of the summit ending, and you'd send your first couple emails, you would lose half of those people. Yeah. Half. Okay. So what's the point? Well, yeah, exactly. What was the point? And it was like, I was keeping, I'm a numbers person, so I was keeping an eye on the metrics. I'm like, why would I want to be so niched, like unniched, that it would attract the wrong people? And then, at the end of it, I'm going to lose half of them anyways. No, screw that. I'm going to do niche and stuff. I'd rather have, I'd rather get like 1,200, 1,500 people on my summit. Exactly. Exactly who I want. Exactly. So, the right people. Exactly. The right people. I love that. Cool. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, so online marketing can be overwhelming with so many channels and tactics to choose from. How can someone determine which marketing strategies will work best for their business or niche and avoid wasting time and resources on ineffective approaches? That's an excellent question. And that is knowing your market. Right? So if you haven't done the work to understand who your ideal client is and how they either want to be talked to, how they receive information, and what they actually are looking to purchase, then you're going to be wasting your time. So spend the time on that. If you don't feel like you have a quality understanding of who your ideal client is, go and find somebody who can help you understand that. Go and get some niche work done, so that you have that clear understanding. It's not hard. It is work, but it's not hard work. It's just like getting to know the right things. Now, if you want to try and do that on your own, fine, go for it. The best thing that you can do is network with a lot of people and ask a ton of questions and see
what people respond to. I'm constantly looking at what people in my space are saying their biggest problem is in Facebook groups or on podcasts, and I make notes, right? So that whatever their biggest problem is, I'm answering that question or that issue with the right answer. So you really want to make sure that you know the right audience. Then your strategy has to be a no stone unturned strategy, right? So one of the biggest problems or one of the biggest issues that I see is people want to follow what the big guys are doing, right? The big people in their space. And they're like, oh, I want to do exactly what, Amy Porterfield is doing, or Tony Robbins is doing, or, Gary Vee is doing, whatever, pick a big name. And they want to emulate their launch strategy exactly, but that's not going to fit for them. One, it's not made for them. It was made for that person. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that the strategy fits you and your goals. So we always work from that end goal and we work our way backwards. You may actually not like Julie.
Yeah.
You're really good at, you're really good at talking to people. You're great on video. You're super personable. You're super chill on camera. You should be on video all the time. It's great that you have a podcast because you're really good at the speaking part, right? But not everybody is. I always say I have a great face for radio. I can talk till the day, till the cows come home. I hate being on video, even though I know video is really great for my business. And yes, I will do it. But I prefer the speaking piece. So I will focus on that, right? So I have a podcast and things like that. So focus on focus on what you're really, really good at and slowly get better at the things that make you uncomfortable. That's always a great strategy to follow too. Because if you think that strategy is to do 25 Facebook Lives because that's what your favorite person online is doing, you're going to struggle doing it because one, you're not going to schedule yourself to do it. You're going to flub your way through it. You may not be ready for it, and you're not going to get the response that you want. And if you don't, you're going to tell yourself that people didn't show up because you're bad at it, and you're never going to do it again. So the short answer to my very long-winded previous answer is you have to look at the things that actually work for your business, know who your ideal client is. And a little bit of it is playing around to figure it out. You have to kind of figure that out a bit. Also, it doesn't hurt to work with a strategist that can help you really shorten that road to get you from where you want to, where you are right now to where you want to be, because they know all of those strategies, right? Like you and I have had a couple calls, like strategic calls, to try and just bridge that gap between where you are now and where you want to get to.
I love that. And you know what? It's funny because I'm recording quite a few podcast episodes right now. And this has come back so many times. It's the foundation. It's one of those pieces of foundation that we need in order to have success in our business. Like without that piece, we're going to be turning in circles, right? Trying to find the right people to buy our thing, et cetera, right?
Absolutely. And the foundations are so key. And you said it perfectly.
Yeah, I love that. So now let's talk about many entrepreneurs struggle to convert website visitors into paying customers. So what are some strategies for optimizing a website's conversion rates, and how can someone ensure they are providing enough value to justify their prices?
Okay. So I'm going to modify that question just a little bit by saying landing page versus website.
Okay.
And I know it's a question that I shared with you, but it should be landing page. So to optimize getting people from your landing page for whatever it is and into your email, that is making sure that the value prop, the value message, the value proposition is perfectly and well said for the variety of people who land on your landing page, right? So some people watch videos, some people skim, some people read every word. And so
skim.
I'm a skimmer too. And I'll watch about the first 5 seconds of the video and I'll make a snap decision. I'm not going to lie. Right. So I want to make sure that the landing pages that we create that are high converting have the different methods that people like to receive. If I just open a landing page and I see a wall of text, I'm gone. If the language is formal, I'm gone. If it looks like it was built in 1994 or worse, 1984 with neon colors, I'm gone. Right. So we make snap decisions. We're human beings. We do that. So you have to be aware that people are going to land and they're going to try and make a snap decision within the first 3 to 5 seconds, and you better be ready for it. So your headline at the top must be engaging. You state your problem quickly, simply, and right away. You have the different ways that people like to receive information, such as video, good call outs, maybe some longer form copy for the people who like to scroll and skim, and also for the people who just like to read the whole page, because there's those. And you speak to people like human beings, first person, informally, like they're a friend, not like, hello there, Mr. Simpson. I would like to tell you, like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We've been in, like, we've had the internet for what, 30, 40, 30 years or whatever. Let's stop with the whole gotta be formal, can't speak to my person the way I want them to. I prefer that. I love it when people speak to me exactly how I like to receive.
Mm-hmm.
Informally, upfront, to the point, tell me what you got. I'll let you know if I want it. So that's the one thing, right? So high converting landing pages are essential. And I love creating landing pages that convert at over 50%, meaning if 100 people land on the page, 50% of them will say yes. Some of my landing pages, and this, convert at like 75, 85, 90%. I know you've got a landing page right now that's converting at almost 100%. That means you're doing something amazing. Like, yay, congrats to you. Right. So that takes some effort. But then to get people to purchase and justify your prices, that also comes from making sure that whatever your offer has is a ton of value, that you explain it well enough that they get the value. And the value isn't you get 24 recordings, 6 hours of material, this PDF download. No, you're going to get access to recordings that are going to help you see, understand, feel, change, like emotional words. People buy with emotion and they justify with logic, right? Nobody walks in and goes, I don't want the amazing, beautiful looking, whatever, insert awesome car here. I only want the completely, mode of transport with no aircon and roll down windows because it's cheap. Nobody does that. They want the beautiful, sexy car or the gorgeous sports car or whatever it is, or whatever the product is. And sure, they'll come back from that, but that's the initial, like, oh, yes, I want that. But if they can get that in a model that, saves them money, has really great gas mileage and all that kind of stuff, they'll justify it with the logic. And so everything that you do in terms of selling should speak to the emotional piece, poke their little bruise, whatever their problem is, tell them that the thing fits it, will solve the problem, and then you justify with the logic at the end.
I buy the feeling, honestly.
Absolutely.
I buy the feeling. Like, I'm like, ooh. And then that's how I make my decisions on purchasing a program or course or whatever.
I buy convenience.
Yes, that too.
I buy convenience. Like, if you can make my problem go away really quickly, I will buy that convenience versus me having
no matter how many modules or lessons.
Absolutely. Yeah. If it took you 500 hours to figure it out, and I can figure it out in 3 hours because you've done it for me and I just have to watch your stuff, that's a done deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? However, I will say that price comes into it. And I mean, I've gone around and around with pricing with a lot of people over the years. There is a price for really knowing your stuff and having put the years in to understand it. So some people, and this was the thing many years ago, people would come into the online space and there was a coach that was teaching people, hey, all you have to do is grow a list, and then you can charge, at the time it was like $500 a month for coaching. Now that person's actually saying you should charge like, $2,000 a month for coaching or $6,000 a month for coaching. And the problem is that those people had no experience in coaching. So people also should be setting their prices based on the amount of experience that they have and the results, right?
Of course,
experience
absolutely.
And results.
Yes.
It should be a bit of a sliding scale that way.
Okay, got it. I love it. Okay, one last thing, because I know we could go on for hours, but okay. So as someone who's achieved significant success in online marketing, what is the one piece of advice? I know you could probably go on for hours on advice, but that you would give someone who is just starting out and looking to build an online business or brand?
Great question. Again, I wonder where these great questions came from. Okay, so I'm just joking.
Okay, full transparency. When I book my podcast interviews, I ask the experts to give me the questions because they know their craft better than I do, and so I
I'm
want to
just
make sure.
joking.
I know you are, but so my human design, it's not in my DNA to pop out questions automatically because based on, even though I know you, I know your business, it's just, for me, it's just easier if I get the questions
Absolutely.
from the experts because they know what they're talking about.
No, absolutely. So
Yeah.
if the answer to this question is easy
Mhm.
and it won't take me long to say, the best piece of advice that I can tell people is start building your list right away. You will
Yes.
make mistakes. Some people will register, some people won't. Try a couple of things. Don't just try one thing, try several things. Try out webinars, try out, master classes, try out a PDF download, bigger things like summits. You can try all these different things out. You're eventually going to figure out the thing that's going to work for you and then stick to it.
Mhm.
Most people try and reinvent the wheel every single time, and I really don't recommend that. So start building your list, do it early, do it often, don't stop, and still innovate.
Mhm. I love it. And so now I want to take time to talk about your upcoming summits because you have an amazing summit at the time of this recording. We're recording this in March now, but
Right?
next week is your summit. Let's talk about that because everybody should sign up for it because, well, if it's anything like your last summit, I know it's going to be incredible. And you're doing it with your biz bestie. You're hosting
Absolutely.
your summit with your biz bestie.
I am. So it's called Smart Results Summit, and it's my biz bestie, Allison Lex, and myself. We're launching this together, and the summit actually is happening next week. So it starts on June 20th, and it goes until the 23rd. It is basically it's like a 4-day summit or 3.5-day summit. And what we're going to be talking about here is the way to get the best results from your business. So we're going to be talking about creating additional visibility. We have tons of great experts for that. We've got marketing and sales success. We're going to be looking at major offer creations and pricing strategies, copy and messaging and funnel creation. We've got our Grow the Empire Day, which is all about outsourcing and delegation, productivity, and project management. So that you're like, if you want to grow your business, you can't always be in the business. You do have to delegate some stuff out. And then our day 4 is all about implementation. So we're creating all of the different things and showing you the different ways for implementation on how to refocus and goal setting. We're making sure that we're representing neurodivergent in this space, by the way. So we're going to be making sure that there's stuff there for people who are struggling with ADHD and other, neurospicy things that are happening there, and all of those good things. In addition, we're creating experiences, something new for summits.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. So it's called Experiences, and it will be some really cool people doing some really cool experiential classes while the summit's live. So you can go in and be like, today I actually want to create, the header, like the headline and tagline and all that kind of stuff for my whatever, or I want to write some copy for my thing, or I want to create the next 30 days of my social media, et cetera, et cetera. We are going to have really expert people doing those types of experience. So by the end of that little class, less than an hour, you've got your whatever it is ready to go, plug and play.
So cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
That summit sounds incredible. Everybody should sign up.
Absolutely. And at the time that this is going to be released, if you go to smartresultssummit.com, that'll be the page that'll take you to the amazing landing page so you can go and register. It's completely free, by the way. You're going to get 40 plus experts. We're going to give, by the way, it's not even interviews, it's case studies.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's not even you having to listen to like, what, blah, blah, blah. It's case studies. So what did you do as an example? How did you make an online challenge that pulls in $250,000 every time you launch it? And they give the step-by-step.
That sounds incredible. I love it because you know what? I know you've done so many of these, but this is how you're going to make your summit stand out from the others and have those extra special things that are going to be more interesting for us to attend and just stand out, be unique. Like
you're going to be a speaker, aren't you?
Yeah.
There you go. Well, so everybody who's listening should go and check out Julie,
Exactly.
being on being a speaker, a featured speaker for the event. So there you
I
go.
know it's going to be awesome, but everybody should grab their free ticket. It's a must, because I know if it's anything like your last time, well, I know it's going to be more incredible because what you've just talked about. Okay, so that's cool. So I'm going to put the link to that in the show notes. Make sure you register. It's free. And of course, you'll have opportunity to grab that VIP pass if you think you can't watch everything, or you want, like, why wouldn't you want to keep these recordings for lifetime access anyway?
Absolutely.
At the price point, I think it's just such an incredible value. Plus, Jennie, you're just awesome all around, and so is Allison. And I know it's going to be an incredible time, an incredible week. I can't wait. I can't wait to participate, speak, whatever it ends up happening.
It'll be great.
Yeah. But thank you so much. And if the listeners are like, well, I want to know more about Jennie, how can they find you? How can they work with you?
I am really accessible. Go and find me on Instagram. It's under Jennie L. Wright. So JennieL Wright. That Instagram, I'm on there quite a bit. You can also find me on my website, jennywright.com.
Awesome. And if that's not enough, you also have a freebie for us. You have the Summits Made Simple Speaker Attraction Bundle. That's a goodie. That's like a gold nuggets.
It is. Well, you went through it, so you know that finding the right speakers for your summit can be challenging and difficult and everything. This takes the challenge and the difficulty right out of it. It makes it super simple. I've got tons of templates in there and instructions on how to find your experts, the right experts for your summit. They're going to deliver exactly what you want and help you promote and do all those good things. So by eliminating that problem, it should be a lot easier for people to start thinking about hosting their online summit.
Amazing. So many goodies in this podcast episode. I'm going to have all the links and all the good stuff in the show notes for you. And again, thank you so much, Jennie. It's always such a good time talking to you. And I know we could go on and on and on for days, but we'll keep it short and sweet. And then, they're going to want more of you anyway. So they're going to go sign up. We're going to go sign up for the summit, right?
Amazing. Thank you so much, Julie. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much.
All right.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Build Your Beautiful Business podcast. If you did, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Julie's included a link in the shows to make it nice and easy for you. And if you want to create a beautiful, profitable business of your own, make sure to go unlock your access to Julie's 6 must-have resources for female entrepreneurs. These resources will help you build and grow your business with simplicity and ease. You can find them at juliecbutler.com/freebie vault. We'll see you in the next episode.